All right, thank you for staying with Daybreak. Let's have that conversation on life, politics, and lessons after now. And let's start with you, Billy. And having done this more than once, this is the second time, what are the latest lessons you've learned? What are your highs, your lows? And I can see the way you're smiling, meaning a lot has happened there.
No, I think for the record, this is the first serious one.
Yeah.
The last one was a by-election, and I had reasons why I died then, and so many things happened. So this was my serious shot. So lesson number one, I think I appreciate the 17,699 people that genuinely voted for me. But I also acknowledge that, you know, election is a process, but it is determined by the last 2 or so days, because so many things happened on the last 2-3 days. And, you know, as a UDA candidate, we were working as opposition. There was so much intimidation that was coming from the government side. The chiefs, the DCC, the police, even village elders were aligned to the Azimio, and they were given proper and strict instructions to make sure that hakuna, we were called yellow fever, hakuna yellow fever that survives in the city. So there's a lot that happened. Hopefully I get to write a book about things that happened. But my big lesson, I wish I was in Parliament, is to make sure that our institutions are independent, because a lot of our institutions towards the election were not independent. We were unfairly treated during the elections, and we didn't get the fair or you know, the playing field wasn't even leveled. Yeah. Yeah. So, you know, in terms of agents, some of my agents left the stations just before the votes were counted.
Why?
Because they had been compromised. So there's just a lot of things that happens on the last few days. The IBC officials fired their clerks in certain areas, particularly 3 wards, so that our opponents could bring in their people. So there's just a lot that happened. And as young people, one, for me, it is a lesson, but I didn't get here to learn. I was here to win because I had a proper plan for my people, and I was ready to execute the plans for the people. Yeah. But it's election, so we win or we lose. So right now we just support the government. I am happy and that, you know, the president won, so that some of the promises that we made to people, we can do, you know, personal or private follow-ups with him to support that.
You're making very heavy accusations. For example, the withdrawal of officials by IBC, which you're saying that was done for the other side to bring in their people. But can you substantiate that? Because yes, there's a chance that they would just remove them because they had been compromised.
Yes, I can. I made...
How come you've never taken this to court then?
No, I was planning to go to court. I think I had, even on my social media, I had details breakdown on the things that happened during the elections. And one of it was that, you know, in Madara, it's where the counting was stopped because there were the ballot boxes, 21 ballot boxes were interfered with, and that was even reported by Citizen. I remember an instance where there's a stream that the lead was completely changed. So the lead for the member of parliament is supposed to be green. The lead for the member of county assembly is supposed to be pink. But when I went to the tallying center, the lead for the member of parliament had a pink one, and the county assembly had the green one. So there's just so much that happened. But you know, post-election, you start to evaluate everything. It was going to be costly because when you take the case to court, you have to pay the security fee of $500,000 to the courts. Then after that, you know, the legal fees, psychologically, you know, you are bound to follow up on this. So I did my evaluation and I said, you know what, there's always next time. And maybe for those of us who go to church, maybe God had a different plan for us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Siad, what are your greatest lessons out of the grueling political battle?
I could say we were unsuccessful. We have not lost. But there is no loss without some gains. We had positive gains and also some few negative gains. I mean, some few losses. All that I can say is, you know, the mindset that we have, especially some of us who are trying for the first time, we expected things differently. We perceived things differently. We've used a lot of energy into the ground instead of, you know, using some tactical things. Let me speak of the positive gains. We have gained a lot of, you know, experience in terms of friendship, in terms of, you know, knowing all the kinds of people that maybe in CBD with thinking that they are all registered voters for you, but they're just businessmen and businesswomen who go out and come in, and you know, and also some few hypocrisy that happen here and there. Not many, but a few people who you think are your close buddies and close friends, and even maybe some of families. But all in all...
So you were betrayed, including by family?
No, I was not betrayed by family, but I'm saying within your circle. You know, even friendship is family, yeah?
Yes.
So those kind of things we've experienced. And for now, one of the things that I can say is politics, we don't take it that serious anymore.
Yeah.
It should be a side hustle instead. Why? Because I'm saying this. For example, we use about 2-3 years or maybe a year at least to campaign, going to the ground and doing this. And what it needs only 3 months of the last 3 months of the elections.
Yeah. That's where it boils down.
That's where it boils up, and that's where we need the heat and the motors for you that time.
Yeah.
But instead of now, other things that I can say is, you know, evaluating your cost. You know, everything comes with a cost. Evaluating your cost means we use a lot of, you know, what do you call, machineries in terms of money, in terms of logistics, in terms of a lot of things, advertisement and everything. Yeah. Which you don't necessarily need it. And those are the kind of things I could say. Some of my friends that I've learned from them, senior people, I used to say, tatasimama kweli huyu? Now go around for maybe a year or two, then you see him the last 3 or 4 months, and then you wonder, where is he coming from? And why? Because tactically, that was the correct moment to come to the ground. So there are those kind of things we've experienced, but we have not lost, but we've gained a lot of experience and learned a lot of things.
So timing is what you're saying is important?
Timing is what's important, and also you are strategically timing, not only timing, strategical timing, because what matters, especially in Nairobi politics, is the party. Okay. Things start, your energy and everything, gaining your popularity in the party. Okay. And then come to the ground. It's not in that chronological order to me. Yeah. You know, zamani ulasema mimi niko na ground, chama itanitambua. But now you come to find the nomination day, chama hajakutambua. Chama ndio iko na ground. Chama ndio itakutambua si wananchi. Okay. So that's kind of hypocrisy that I'm talking about, are those kind of things. But we always gain, and those are the kind of things we have to gain. We can write a book like my brother here said, iko vitu mingi sana. Yeah, I want to hear part of those books that you want to write right now. But let's hear from Amos, because you were successful. Sure. What were your greatest lessons? What did you learn? In terms of what Siad is saying, the timing. Did you start campaigning early? Did you go to the people door to door? Did you wait until last minute and then jump ship? What happened? Okay, for me, as a first-timer in politics, I had to campaign for 16 months. 16 months? Yeah, and my strength point was my branding. I think you also boast us of Amos, Mwago, Amondo, best everywhere. So I think the greatest lesson I learned is to put your eyes on your opponent at all times. Any moves you make a counter move. And you really make sure you are so close to the people. That was one of my most successful strategies.
And about branding, you have to be visible in this Nairobi. Because unlike in the villages where you're able to go door to door, in Nairobi you can't. As of now, in the CBD, you'll have like 1 million people, but only 50,000 are voters in CBD. So how do you identify those people? If you fall into the wrong hands, there are a lot of political brokers in this town. But with the little experience that I have with my various predecessors, because I happened to work with them, the minor commanders, the Bishop Margaret Wanjiru, so I knew the voting cells in CBD, you're able to pick them one by one and you're able to talk to those people. So I think that was one of my biggest strategy that worked for me. The other thing, I tend to disagree with what my, my brother here said about the government working in favor of Azimio candidates. That nothing could be further than the truth. Because even the president, His Excellency William Ruto, said there's nothing like the deep state. And if the deep state would work for MPs, it would have worked better for Baba. So basically, this is just an illusion that they created in their team, that there was deep state working for Azimio candidates. Because if that was the case, then you'd have won all this, because the chiefs are everywhere in this country. Anyway, what I do believe is when you set out to do something, give it your best. Give it your best. As my brother here has said, the party politics also play a very crucial role. Yeah. Because once elections in this Nairobi are so much presidential, people just wake up to choose between their candidate, their favorite candidate. Either it's Baba or Ruto. So the moment they wake up and you're in the wrong camp, it is so hard to convince them to vote.
So this six-piece thing is real. It's a real phenomenon.
Yeah, it's a real phenomenon.
He's the only one who survived in Starehe. All the MCAs, Starehe MCAs are UD MCAs.
Yeah, I'm getting to that now. Yeah. But we see that culture, that political culture is evolving now. People are tending to accept candidates based on how they think these people can perform. We have an MP from Kasarani called Karauri, who came in as an independent, despite there being a UDA candidate and a Jubilee candidate. So that culture is evolving to people listening directly to what the candidate has to offer. Yeah. And I think it's a very positive thing. As of political maturity is concerned, yeah. I think that's very positive, because if you judge a candidate on how they are, on their performance, we tend to get better leaders. Okay. But the moment we vote in euphoric waves, you tend to vote in even the bad leaders who hide behind the parties. Okay. So,
Billion, is it the political messaging or the party? Because you see, when you're running against your opponent, both of you come from the same area, you both know exactly what the problems in that area is. So you're most likely going to speak about the same issues. So what is the differentiating factor here? Is it the political messaging or the political party that you belong to?
First of all, in Nairobi, in most cases, the party politics, because we are voting according to the tribal lines. So depending on the coalition and the number of communities within that commission plays a big role. So yes, within the city, the political party is a big deal, and the last few days now people are divided for real. Even your friends, I remember some of my people who, because I was in the UDA side. So,
but before you were in the Azimio side, then you moved.
I was in the UDA side. So in the UDA side, most of my community mates saw me as a betrayer, because there was an assumption that there's a certain political party that I should or I belong to. But I am happy that when I moved to the UDA, the reception was good. The support was good from the president and the deputy president, and many times he would call and just have a sit down and know how we are faring on the ground, because they knew that there was serious opposition. And I just want to let my brother know that I don't know if there was Kazim Tani in Starehe, but Kazim Tani was one of the anchors that the government used to push the agendas of their candidates. So in Mathare, if you are not supporting the government, you didn't have an opportunity, or you are not allowed to participate in the Kazi Mtaani. So a lot of young people were radicalized through the Kazi Mtaani to support the government candidate. So it is not an illusion, it's a reality. So yeah, back to the topic, I think the political party plays a big role. So usually they're the big teams. Mathare is 50-50. Because even now we were able to add an extra MCA. Usually it's perceived as an ODM zone, but an ODM usually have the majority MCA seats. But this time we were able to also have 50-50. So they had the 3 MCAs, we had the 3 MCAs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Siad, you're the one who raised this issue of party politics. What would you have done differently, or what will you do differently given another chance? Having seen what happened, did you start campaigning early? Did you start too late? Did you give little money? Did you give too much money? What are your lessons from it?
I started campaigning before even my MP. 2 years before. He said 16 months. I was on the ground for 2 years.
Was it too early?
It was too early.
Now you're
extremely too early.
Yeah.
Now that I have the experience, just watch, let the political formations come. See the Popular Party, go there, make your what do you call your presence there, do the party, in-house politics there, and then come to the ground maybe 6 months, then do your things. But by that time, you cannot be just clueless what's not going on the ground. You must know what's going on the ground. Chinemaji, you do your things, but don't come very quickly, very early, and use a lot of energy and a lot of resources, because the person who is hungry today is hungry tomorrow.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, politics is money. Politics is resources. You cannot just say, atinapenda na wananchi, and then you just come and say, ni wananchi wamenichagua. Even if you're independent, you must have used your resources well. And yes, that's where I insist, especially if you're in Nairobi. And Nairobi's politics all about the Popular Party and the party of that area that's maybe in Mathare, there's a party that's popular. In maybe in East, Donholm East, what do you call, in Pakasi East and others, there's a party. In Starehe, maybe there's a party.
Yeah.
So zoning of that kind of things. So you must be on the ground, but you must be in the party before.
Okay.
Yes.
Amos, Siad says politics is money, but we've seen some people being elected without using that much resources.
Where?
Oto is one of them, or are those just the exceptions from the rule?
Yeah, okay. Generally, as of Nairobi politics is concerned, it boils down to money, because most people, in order to get audience with the people of Nairobi, people are in their daily hustles. So in order for them to leave what they're doing to come listen to you, and they have to put bread on the table at the end of the day, you have to mobilize. You have to do some serious mobilization, and that boils down to money.
But do you even know who, when you say serious mobilization, so say you give Party A some money to mobilize to you, do you know whether that money has been used? Do you come to the rally and count the number of people because you gave money? How do you then know that my money was used for mobilization? Or is this a point where money can also just be eaten?
No. Okay, you have to come up with strategies, like you have to do the town halls.
Yeah.
The town hall meetings. Those are very costly meetings because you have to do several of them. In those town halls, you're able to identify your voters, because admission to the town halls, people have to come with their maybe voters card and what. So, and the whole thing about branding in Nairobi is also very, very expensive.
Yeah.
Buying of campaign materials is very, very expensive. And as you said, there are also loopholes, because if you're giving materials, you don't know who you're giving to. Actually, in this Nairobi, people will see free things that just come for them. We're trying to brand people, even buying them dascos in this town, so that you can be able to send your message out there. And most of the cases, the people who give 80% are not even voters in Starehe. So it's a very expensive affair. It's a very expensive affair. But if you do it diligently, at least you get your message out there. For Nairobi, there's no two way about it. You have to spend so much money in the campaigns, because...
Approximately how much for a member of parliament?
I would disclose that because, okay. But it ranges above 50 million and so on and so forth.
50 million and beyond.
And beyond, and way beyond, depending on
how early you've started.
how early you started,
yeah.
and serious mobilization.
And how you plan on your branding. Because for me, like, I had more than 20 billboards in this town, and you can only imagine one costs at around 100,000 per month. So if you start from there, you can imagine how much money you spent on the campaigns.
And you stayed there for how long?
Yeah, for about 4 months, 5 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
I had one that I had to fight to get the space.
Yeah.
Because the owner was a Azimio supporter, so he said, no, you can't. But anyways, that's another story. I think I just want to recommend my brother. You know, we are neighbors.
Yeah.
He did some serious campaigns.
Yeah.
You know, you also just don't spend. You also looked at the way your opponents are approaching the campaigns. I think if there's one place that there was a serious campaign was Tarehe, the branding and everything, and he did a really, really good job. But for me, I don't think I would be able to even afford the 50 million. So not more than 20 million, but there was also some support from the party. I didn't do so much serious branding because for me, I am a community mobilizer. So I connect more with the people, and a lot of people knows some of the things that I'm doing. So I didn't start campaigning. I can't say I started campaigning 2 years or 4 years or 3 years, because I'm usually in the community. I have meetings. During COVID-19, we gave a lot of support to the people.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was campaigning. So we didn't use so much money, because I believe that, you know, somebody will pay for that money. If you use so much, you have to recover back your money. And I didn't want to get into the office and start stealing from my people, because I used a lot of money. But it's, as he said, it's serious. You have to have some resources. What I did is I started early planning. I involved stakeholders, different stakeholders, Madarians in diaspora. I had to travel to different countries to try get support for that, because I wanted it to be a Madari thing. And even my friends coming on board, but it is a serious affair. I think the last 1 month we would use not less than 100,000 per day for the meetings.
For the last 1 month?
For the last 1 month.
100,000 per day?
Per day.
And it's every day?
And it's every day, almost every day, apart from Sundays when we have to go to church.
Would
so
you
we
still
have
use money
very early meetings. Sorry?
You still use money in church?
Yeah, people will follow you.
Everywhere.
They know you are in church. The guys will still follow you. Yeah.
Okay. But this is the thing, Billion, because this sounds to me like a hide-and-seek game. So even those people you're talking to, how do you know that these are the people who are going to vote for me? Or do they receive you the exact same way they receive your opponent and tell you the exact same message? We will vote for you, and tell your opponent the same thing. And yet you know they can only vote for one person. So how do you know whether they're being honest?
It is a potea pata. I think it's a big gamble.
Yeah.
But you know, as long as you are doing it for the right thing or for the right purpose, you don't have to choose the people. If I was elected the member of parliament, I would not serve the people who voted for me and neglect or sideline the people who didn't vote for me. So for me, I looked at them as collectively as the people of Madari. So whether you are going to vote for me or not, and you know, it's not even about voting. You know, they are bloggers, so they're with you today, tomorrow. The statements that they're giving out there, yeah. So it is just a risk. So we have to take risk, and especially as young people, because we have to make sure that we have the right leadership, and that is the only initiation way to it. There's no other second way of doing it. So you have to go through it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ziad, how would you tell that this is a genuine voter and this is not?
Okay, it takes a lot of energy to evaluate that. You know, sometimes that's what you say. Some of us, you started campaigning for 2 years.
Yeah.
That's a long time, 24 months, Sikidogo. So along the way, kuna wale ambayo unasema this is a genuine. Why? Because first and foremost, you know them, they're registered voters. Number one here. Number two, whatever, you know, there are people that who are your lobbying people, who they lobby on your behalf, they, you know, go ceremonies or even some functions on your behalf, do some things, and without even them not telling you, kuna watu wengine, other people will tell you kwamba fulani na fulani were doing this and this for you. So there are a lot of things that you can evaluate. But as long as voters were doing that, even us, we knew what we were doing in terms of, we knew that. But you have to risk the way my friend here said. You cannot say, this one, you cannot vote for me, you just go away. And then bring another one and say, you'll vote for me, Shikai. So at the end of the day, you have to use the resources for you to know these are serious people, these are not serious people. You have to campaign. Whenever you're even distributing your flyers or your T-shirts, every person will come. A Mamamboga will come, a border will come. You cannot just tell them, no, I will not give it to you. You're not my voter. You have to give it to him. In the name of, there are some people that I say, I use them in terms of billboards. They're not my voters. I know that they don't vote. But what I do is, let them, have my T-shirts, let them have my stickers for advertisement. Okay. But those people, whenever you go somewhere, you just go with them for, some crowd things, in politics. And the people who are genuinely the last day or the nomination day or the time, see you're doing those serious, activities, you go with them on a serious note. So there are sectors of people, even as we sectored them into different people. Yeah. There are those people, the way I said, advertisement. Those people you say, kelele. Those people you say, voters.
What is kelele? The people are supposed to shout when you
No. Those people, whenever you go somewhere, you have to be relevant, right? Yeah. You must be relevant. And for you to be relevant, you must have a crowd.
So there's a specific crowd you choose to make noise whenever you show up.
You have to have a crowd, my friend. So those are the kind of things. Even as we know what we are doing, but we know it comes with an experience. Maybe, God willing, if I go and campaign in 2027, God willing, I will not use the same strategy. I know now. I know you. I know you. I know you. So things will be different. So, but all that I can say is, we've not lost. We've gained a lot.
Okay.
Yes.
And Amos, did you, towards the end, and you were running against an incumbent, were you sure that you're going to win, or did you get to a point where you see the same people in your crowd, in your opponent's crowd, cheering with the same vigor that they cheered for you, and now you're starting to think, did they lie to me, or what's going to happen now?
Okay, I think towards the end, the last 1 month, with the political temperatures are so high, and people are always so divided. Now people have decided, I'm either in Azimio or UDA. So during that time, we're able to identify your real voters at least, because now people are affiliated to their collective coalitions. Yeah. We're able to, now people identify with their coalitions, but you can never be too sure. What I did as a political scientist, I used to engage so much in empirical surveys, independent surveys. So I used to do these surveys that I had to see how I'm faring on. And then I used to do different surveys in different areas. I identify my areas of weaknesses. I used to focus on those. So I had a campaign team that was, I would say, very efficient, because we were trying to deal with the whole situation in a very scientific way, to try to identify our areas of weakness, and then we focus on those areas. So by the time we were getting to the elections, we had known where our opponent's strength lied and our weakness where they were, so we were able to fix some things. And what we did in the last week, our independent survey actually turned out to be the same result that we got. We had a 57% win against his 41%, and that is what turned out to be in the final elections. Yeah. So every step of the way, since I started campaigning, I was doing this every fortnight. I used to do a survey to see how I'm faring on, so that by the time we went to, after the nominations and everything, I was so sure. Now I can be able to put up a fight. Yeah. And maybe my chances, because I'm a very realistic person. If they didn't go as I would just have thrown in the towel. Yeah. But were you using different surveys, different people to do the surveys, or is it the same person? Because there's also that risk. If you're using the same person to conduct the survey, they can simply just tell you what you want to hear, so that you keep paying them as time goes by. I was using different surveys. Yeah. And I was using different teams in different universities. like this Tuk University here, Nairobi University, just collect a group of students. They are trained on what to do. They go to the ground. They ask on the popularity of almond smuggle from different people. And then there was so many other different surveys that were being done by the government.
Yeah.
Others were being done by our political parties. So you get a clear picture of where you're headed. But it is not cast on stone that I was going to win. In politics, you never, even the last day can even change things.
Yeah.
But you're just being cautious and everything. Yeah.
Billion, and it's this surveys where I'm sticking to, because there was a big controversy around that. In fact, the political parties used to say that we're giving so-and-so our ticket because our internal survey has shown that they're most popular. How did you go about that?
Yeah, I think I'm a beneficiary of a survey because our party didn't do nominations in Mathare. We were subjected to a survey, an opinion poll in Mathare. And I think they did like 3 opinion polls before settling on me, and all the opinion polls I was leading. So yeah, I think our party so believes in scientific, because it gives a practicality on what is likely to happen. Yeah. So there were a lot of surveys that were done. There was Mizani, and you know, Mizani, in Mathare it was interesting that the competition was between Bahati and the current member of parliament. So even when Mizani were giving out their surveys, they would put me distance third. But you know, we were able to have the access to the government surveys too. And in the government surveys, I was always slightly leading. Yeah. Even the last survey, I was slightly. So sometimes they can, you know, put some confidence in you, but sometimes they can also make you to work hard. Yeah. Yeah. So some of them are true, but some of them are used to sell certain agendas. Yeah. Yeah.
Sia, did you do any surveys yourself in this 2-year period that you're campaigning? Did you try to find out where are you winning, where are you losing, what are you doing right, what are you doing wrong?
I've not used an official survey. I was doing survey for my own in terms of, you know, I had some coordinators within, trusted coordinators within CBD. There's uptown and downtown in CBD, so the areas that I know, the chairladies and chairmen who are there, and then they give me the clear, you know, situations which is going on. They will tell you, you know, the people that you are with yesterday, those are the people who are with Mr. X on the other day, so be careful. And also, they will tell you also this ground don't go that far because they are not voters. Yeah. These people, you know, it's for Fulani. So we knew what was going on one way or the other. But at the end of the day, I've not done an official survey because I don't believe in surveys myself. Okay. Because this thing of, you know, saying that if you believed in survey, Baba could be the president, you know.
Untaka mkutane kwa ground. Okay. Let me begin. Let's talk about now the impact on family. And Amos, before you ran, was there a point where family told you, "Hey, achana na ikitu"? And what are they saying now? Do they say that, okay, fine, I mean, you are the one who was right, but it's the same thing for all of you? Is there a point where family told you, achana na ikitu, and then now all of a sudden they're like, "Sunona tulikuambia, sasa unaona umeshindwa"? Amos, I'll start with you.
Okay. As a political scientist, I went to the University of Nairobi and studied political science and economics. Yeah. So I've always had this will to run. I tried to run in 2013. My family refused. They said, no. Politics and the way politics is known, it's a murky world. So I had to... Game. My family then, we had a sit down with the family also, and they said it's not the opportune time. So come 2022, I thought it was my time now. And I wouldn't compromise on that position, because also...
So what changed now? Between 2013, where you believed your family, 2027, you still believed your family, but 2022, you're like, now I'm doing this thing. What changed?
I think basically what changed is I looked at the representation that we've had in Starehe, and I felt there's an area that has never been addressed. The issue of the major stakeholders in Nairobi, in Starehe, who are traders, has never been addressed in a very sustainable way.
Yeah.
We have the issue of hawkers, we have the issue of small traders, and these people, the population of these people is growing by the day, but we don't have new markets that are being built. We don't have a sustainable solution that is being offered to these people. You see, there's a person who's been hawking or renting in the streets for the last 15 years. They are not progressing in their life. There are no new markets that are being built to accommodate these people. There are no structures and systems that are being put in place to make Nairobi a harmoniously conducive place for all traders and all the people, all the stakeholders in Nairobi. And I said, no, I can't sit and watch, because I believe I can be an agent of the change I want to see in the society.
But family's position was still that you shouldn't run. So how then did you convince them that you're running? Or you just went against the grain?
Now we had a sit down with the family, and I said, I have this to offer now. I have this to offer. I can't keep it to myself now. It's time now you allow me to go do what I studied for. And since I have the zeal and the will to work for the people, I think it's time now you give me the space. You allow me to go out there and talk to the people. If they say yes, you allow me to serve the people. Because having come from a very, very, very humble background, I feel it is my time to give back to the community.
Yeah.
And because I'm a product of good leadership, actually, I'm a beneficiary of the Karisamaida blueprint when he came and gave people a place to work from. The corridors, the chichoros, as they are called in Nairobi. My mother was a hawker in this town. So the moment Karisamaida came with that blueprint, and my mother was able to get a better environment to trade, that's how she took me to school.
Yeah.
So I always have that. I feel I have that responsibility too, to bring in good leadership so that it can redeem someone else's life.
Yeah.
So when I put that on the table, they said, anyway, you've insisted for far too long, let us just allow you, give you a chance. You go talk to Wananchi. If they allow you to, they give you their votes, then it's okay.
And what are they saying now, now that you won?
Now that you're in Parliament, now things are different. Because actually the pressure actually is too much, because there's so much expectation from the populace. I've become very busy right now. I have to address so many issues in terms of the constituency. But they're still my support system, because they understand what I purpose to achieve for the people of Starehe. And I think they've been fair enough to me. They've been fair enough to me. And also, during the campaign period, because some of them got involved and they realized there's so much that we need to address in this Starehe.
Yeah.
And I'm happy that they agreed with me that there was something that needed to be addressed.
Yeah.
And they thought it fit, I would be the best person to address it. So as far as I'm concerned, as of now, I have their support.
Yeah.
There are so many challenges, but we are coping by day.
Okay. I'll come back to you to find out how your typical day looks like in the office. Do you start meeting?
I want to add something.
Yes.
I want to give you a quote, yeah?
Yeah.
You know, they say a winner has many fathers.
Yeah.
And a loser is an orphan.
That is how it is. Let's talk about your family. How did it go with your family, Siad? When you started, did they doubt it? Did they tell you don't run? Then all of a sudden, when you said that you didn't succeed, did they tell you that, you see, we told you not to try? How was it with?
Yes, true. There are people who, in any case, in any situation, if you don't believe in yourself, there are people who will tell you, no, you don't try this. You know, this is too hard. You know, every person that judges you, they judge themselves. They put themselves in your shoes, and then they think that is them.
Yeah.
But you are different. So, of course, there are my family who are telling me, no, CBD is too difficult. No, CBD is, kind of tribal. CBD is like this, CBD needs money, politics is dirty. No, politics is not for the kind of... But one thing I always learned is, if you believe in something, stick on it. Just believe in God, believe in yourself, and believe in others. Let them come third. So, yes, there are people and friends who even told me, no, just try somewhere else, not here. But I knew why I was here. When you are, let's say, a hawker, you must have came from a history. Maybe you are somewhere and then you came for some. By the time I was running in CBD, I was not a visitor, or I was not, what do you call, mgeni in CBD. I was there, I did my businesses there. I started my side hustle in matatu industry there. I was one of the coordinators and, what do you call, fraternity of leadership in matatu industry and so forth. So I was in downtown doing my hustle, and then later came to uptown and do corporates. So I'm a product of CBD. So by the time I was going for CBD, I knew the challenges these people are facing. Because in my position, without a position, I was helping a lot of people, and I was seeing, from Madhurwa to Uhuru Park, there are a lot of people who have different lines, different people who have different situations. So I realized this leadership needs to be brought here, what I have in mind. So one thing I can say, always believe in yourself, stick to your plan.
Stick to the plan. Yes. And Billion, how was it for you in your family? Because even where you come from, did they tell you that just go back and run in the village, not here?
Yes. I think for me it was a balance. First of all, my wife was so supportive, and I was just having a young family. I think my son had just been born, so when I was starting the process. But I had to consult further because I also have mentors. So I had to have a sit down with Governor Mweke, former Nairobi Deputy Governor, who is a mentor. I consulted Governor Obado because Bishop Margaret Wanjiru had been a member of parliament in Mathare, in Starehe, and also the son was a member of parliament in Mathare. And since none of them was going for the seat, I also had to have a sit down with them. So yes, my family was a bit supportive. My grandmother, who is like my mother, she wasn't for the idea. I think because of the stories she hears in her church in the village about politics in the city, and people being killed and the violence, especially in Mathare. So she wasn't for the idea. But a lot of people around me, my best friend didn't buy in the idea. He thought that I was already doing good. But for me, it wasn't just politics. It was just expanding what I've been doing in the community. So I was able to convince them that, it's just that I want to serve the people more. I serve less than 10,000 people, and there's over 500,000 people in Mathare. So how can I reach them? It's by expanding and having a little more resources and more powers and more influence to be able to not only offer solutions, but also at the policy level, be able to, put forward some of the challenges that we are going through so that they can be captured at the policy level. Yeah.
In hindsight, do you think somebody needs godfathers?
Yes. I think we because there are many points that I had breakdowns. When I was transitioning from Azimio, from ODM to UDA, I had a sit down with Governor Mweke, who was running for governor in Kitui. And, we analyzed the situation, and being a friend to the president, he advised me accordingly. And in many cases, even when we were going for nominations, we would talk. He would shape me, he would tell me, what, stick to what you believe in. Whatever happens, happens. So we, for sure, need a godfather. We need a godfather. Not really a godfather, but a mentor. And unfortunately, now I'll speak as a Luo. Unfortunately, in the line of Luo leaderships, there are few people who would willingly take somebody as a mentor. We have serious problems when it comes to the leaders from the Luo side. They don't really support others to grow. So
have you tried to reach out?
I have tried. Apart from Governor Obado, I have tried because I believe there is going to be a shift in leadership. And for us to be able to connect, we need to connect with already existing leaders. But you would talk to many, even the MCAs, even the MPs that were elected as the first-timers. They'll tell you the battles they went through to be able to penetrate through those circles. Okay. It is a locked circle.
Yeah. Ziad, is it true that it is a locked circle the way Billion is saying? But do you need godfathers or mentors? It depends on how you look at it. It could be godfathers, it could be mentors.
One thing, It depends on which area are you, or which political party are you. You know, I can say, I can imagine where it's coming from, because I had some friends who are also running through ODM, and not to mention. But where I believe is, first and foremost, your mentor is yourself. Be mentor of yourself. Believe in yourself, go for it. Believe in God, go for it. The other thing is, politics about the party in Nairobi. Do your major shift and major plans within the party, then also do your groundwork. Because if you say you'll have a godfather, that godfather, you'll be a slave for him every time. Atakwambia leta fanya hii, do this. So you'll be somehow clueless. Because even if you wanted to learn a few things, you must go through the godfather, or godfather has to advise you or everything. But I understand where it's coming from. In politics, sometimes you might need someone beside you, very known in that party, to say, Tosha. So
you need an endorsement.
Yeah, endorsement.
Okay.
I can understand. But one thing I came to realize is, just believe in yourself, be mentor of yourself, go to the ground, talk to the people, the bad ones, sieve them out, good ones, bring them in, go to the party, understand where the party politics is. That's it.
Yeah. Amos, how did it work for you? Did you have a godfather? Did you have a mentor?
I think being a newbie in politics, I wouldn't say that I had a godfather, but I sold my manifesto and what I believed in to the powers that be, and they bought into it. And I think this last election, I think the issue of godfather did not come up so much, because all these parties, my friend here has confirmed that they were subjected to opinion polls.
Yeah.
So even in our party in Jubilee, they subjected us, the aspirants, to independent opinion polls. And the person who was deemed to be on the ground was the person who was given the party support. So my mentors, my mentors came on board after having been satisfied that I was a candidate for the seat. So it didn't work like
fast.
Yeah, I had to be subjected to an opinion poll first to ascertain my popularity on the ground.
Yeah.
So their support came through not like godfatherism, but it was like mentorship. Now that they had identified me as their candidate, so they chose to support me all the way. That is, I can say, and I was lucky that I had the support of my commander, who was on Jubilee side, and even Bishop Margaret Wanjiru believed in my dream, despite her being in the other side of the divide, because the empiricality of the opinion polls showed that I was the favorite candidate to win. And I really commend that we are taking that direction as a country, because we are able to judge a person based on their ability and capability to perform, rather than where they come from. Because if I was subjected to nepotism, I wouldn't have made it anywhere. Having been brought up in the humble ghettos of this place, with no one who would hold my hand, the only thing that held my hand was the opinion polls. I think I'm a beneficiary of political maturity. And I really, my brother here says he doesn't believe in opinion polls, but I think it's a very fair way to judge people. It's a very fair way to judge people. Because the moment you go to, there are so many brokers in this Nairobi, political brokers. And the moment you are subjected to that, you cannot have your right anywhere. And
you're saying if the opinion polls were against you, you'd have just dropped the race? Yeah,
I wouldn't have argued against them, because I'm very empirical, and you cannot argue. You cannot just push something that is not working.
But we've also seen nationally that the opinion polls were in favor of Azimio, but it didn't turn out to be the case.
Sorry to say, but some of these opinion poll companies have commercialized the thing. So basically, just people, like you earlier said, that some of these people just put the ratings on you to, one, blackmail you maybe. Others, like for me, there's an independent company that I won't mention here. They always putting me like at a very distant second against my main opponent.
You know, but those,
I understand where it's going. But that's a company that I have issues with their integrity. And I know how they operate, because at the end of the day, they just go to you and try to call you, telling you they can put you higher ranking and what. That is what happens. So most of these opinion poll companies have, some of them post these audits these results, maybe to blackmail you, to get money, others just to make you feel happy and everything. But if you engage very, very, very independent institutions, they come up with very empirical results.
Yeah. And you tell them to tell you the truth, not what...
Yeah. They tell you the truth.
Okay. All right. There's a lot of feedback coming through. Let's read some of them and then take closing remarks really quick before I allow my guests to head out. Amos had earlier on said that he's a very busy man now. So let's see what you're saying online. At Trevor Mbija at Citizen TV Kenya, use the hashtag Daybreak. Let's bring that up on screen. Godi Baraza says the youth should rise above self-contentment and critically focus on serving Kenyans in their respective leadership positions. It's time for them to carve out a good leadership niche for themselves going forward. Okay? Bob Otieno Wino says youth still have a long way to go because they can't stand on their own but depend on political parties which are run by political bigwigs. Hence, they end up falling into their status quo. Okay? Oringe Waswa says, in as much as stabilizing the country economically needs time, Kenyans are genuinely waiting with bated breath to see the pledges that were given by Kenya Kwanza during campaigns coming true in 100 days. They just want promises honored. Okay? Chemai's Korir says, there's nothing like popularity of party in politics. Also in Kenya, money can't make you win in politics. Okay? Angela Lazaro says Kenyan politics still heavily rely on euphoria. Otherwise, 30 victory honeymoon is enough. It's now time Ruto administration should free themselves from campaign mode and implement their pledges, not revenge and rewarding cronies. Okay? Fellow Moya says, looking at the political participation behavior of young adults in contemporary, one is faced with a contradiction. We show the lowest scores in almost all areas of political participation for young adults. Okay? Bob Otieno again says youth are financially disadvantaged. That's why they can't chart their own way, but seeking support from politicians coming from different parties they are vying for. Any seat they should stand on their own to have an impact. Okay? All right, Billion, closing remarks. What way forward now? Now that you ran for office, did not make it, what is the way forward?
I want to be clear. I think one for me was a big lesson. I was not running for the title. I'll still continue serving my people. Hopefully, we are in government now. Everybody keeps reminding me that we are in government. So whatever capacity that maybe the governor or the president will assign me, I will diligently do the job. But apart from that, I think I'm ready to serve my people. I have my organization in Mathare. I still go to the office. I still want to make sure that the promises that I made to our people are honored. So I'm still connecting with the people of Mathare.
Okay.
But for now, is to support the government and make sure that, you know, some of the promises that were made by our president are honored. So, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Siad?
First and foremost, I wish to take this opportunity to thank my supporters in CBD and my family, friends who stood with me all the way. It was a long journey, but we've never lost. We've gained, as I said before. And above all, you know, politics is not life and death. We have other things to do, and it's just again an experience that we have. Now we have a lot of experience, and we have a lot of contact with good leadership, and you know, connections here and there. We can do our things and help each other. So all that I can say is, politics is not life and death. Okay. We are here to serve in other capacities.
Okay. Amos?
First and foremost, I would also like to thank my constituents in Starehe people for voting me in large numbers. I'd like to also tell them that I reaffirm my promise to them to work for them. From my legislative role, my representative role, representing them in parliament, making legislatures that are going to safeguard their businesses, their different walks of life. Thirdly, I'm also ready to play my role in oversighting the government functions and everything for the betterment of Starehe people.
Okay.
I would really like to say that it is time now, we as young leaders who've come to Parliament, we need to inject fresh blood into Parliament, make laws, because I think we are way behind in terms of making legislation that is supposed to safeguard ICT, like in incorporating ICT in all functions of the government. I feel like the ICT world is moving faster than the Kenyan laws. And I think it's time we come up with laws that are going to safeguard the ICT space. Because, for example, now most businesses are being run online. And there's so many challenges with online businesses, but there are no laws or structures that are safeguarding the interests of the parties that are involved in these online transactions. Even in terms of cyberbullying, cybercrime, and what, I think it is time now we as young leaders come up with laws that are going to be for posterity, laws that are going to revise the ICT space in Kenya.
Okay. Maybe
if given a better space to address our issues as young people, I think we have so much that we brought to this Parliament. And the notion that young people cannot perform, I think that is something that we are going to try and make sure that we bring a difference in the way legislation is made in this country, in the way that our people's space is fought for, so that we as young people can be able to be distinguished as leaders of this country. Thank you so much.
Okay, I want to thank you all for making time this morning. Honorable Amos Mwago, Member of Parliament for Starehe, Honorable Siad Osman, former MC aspirant for CBD, and Honorable Billian Ojiwa Amadare, Member of Parliament aspirant. Thank you so much for making time and speaking about the life lessons of politics. Now you know what it takes to get there, and even if you don't, you know what it takes to stand on your own 2 feet. We're taking a quick break. When you come back here, we're speaking about the Mask Awards. Hala Shuk is here. She's the founder of Mask Awards. We'll find out what that is in just a bit. All right? Don't go too far.